Yeah, the latest track didn't show a big difference at 5 o'clock, still heading in this direction, not a huge difference there. So if you just joined us, the big picture, and I'm a layman, but the big picture is the winds pick up tomorrow morning, Sunday night into Monday morning is the peak of this situation, and Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will have a complete update in a matter of minutes after we join Governor Scott when he takes the podium in Tallahassee.
I'm ready to go live if you guys want to go with me.
All right, Steve is, meteorologist Steve Newman is ready. Let's get over to him with more on the storm and its progress.
Well, let's take a look at the warnings that are available over the area. We've, for weeks and weeks, if not months, have had flood warnings out of the Myakka River and also in Manatee County as well. A lot of little rivers and streams, Horse Creek. That continues, and if anything, that's going to get worse when the rain comes in by far. But the whole area is under a flash flood watch, and that's through Monday at 4 p.m. And there's a tornado watch in effect from basically Charlotte County southward to Josh, can you go over and advance the traffic computer for me? Thanks a lot. Josh Stone is also going to be in working with Bob Harrigan tonight. That warning area, is that loaded? Just hit the space bar for me. There we go. I think our computer has locked up. So give me about a minute or two to fix that, and Ray, we'll be right back.
All right, well, tropical storm wind gusts have already started causing damage right now on the Sun Coast. The National Weather Service issued a tornado warning for areas including the Everglades. High winds took down traffic signs and trees, including one that fell on a house in southwest Miami-Dade. The family was at home at the time, but nobody was injured. Officials are urging motorists and pedestrians to stay off the road as the wind speeds pick up. In case you just joined us, we do have a phone bank to tell you about. You can jot this number down and ask any question about the weather situation. Here it is on your screen, 941-552-3127. You can check on the latest. In fact, there's a live picture right now of our very busy newsroom, as well as the phone bank itself. So you can call in at 552-3127. We also have a team right now at mysuncoast.com, constantly updating our website and also on Facebook. If you go to ABC7 Sarasota on Facebook, you'll see updates on there as well. We also have individual Facebook pages. If you punch up, in my case, Ray Collins, ABC7, you can ask direct questions. Also some pictures from behind the scenes. Let's go live now to our first alert meteorologist, Steve Newman, with the latest on Hurricane Irma. Steve?
John Scalzi and I have been just working the weather computer like crazy since 5 in the morning, so I think it's getting overloaded by all the keystrokes and all the times we've been on the air all day today. So again, reviewing the warnings, a flood warning in effect for numerous rivers already, and that's just because of previous rain. We also have the flood watch in effect for the whole area because of anticipation of Irma's arrival. We also have a tornado watch in effect for Florida south of Charlotte County, and we just right now have a new tornado warning in effect, and it looks like it's down there, Marathon, maybe Deer Key, and that's in effect until 6:45. That's what we've been talking about, the threat of tornadoes spinning up from these outer bands moving over Florida as Irma approaches. And you can see right now it's moving into the Florida Strait. It's been skirting these islands all day, and it's done two things. You can see how it doesn't have a lot of rain back here. The high terrain of Cuba, east to west, is blocking the inflow at low levels of the atmosphere into the storm. I mean, it's pulling that in, but it's not making over the mountains. So now it's relying on the moisture it's getting from the Florida Strait and part of the Atlantic Ocean. But as it moves farther north into the Florida Keys and in our direction, it's going to become more symmetrical and become more powerful hour by hour over the warm waters of the Florida Strait. Now, there is that tornado watch in effect, Charlotte County southward, and look at, we're getting some very impressive looking squalls along this particular spiraling band. Fortunately, it's not quite reached us in the Sun Coast, but be alert. This is the kind of stuff we're going to be getting overnight and tomorrow as Irma approaches. These strong squalls coming in, and it's just going to rain very heavily starting tomorrow midday in the afternoon. We're losing the sun on this visible light satellite image from our new GOES 16 satellite, but it just gives us such incredible resolution and detail on these storms. We missed a few frames there, but it's now moving out into the Florida Strait, and as we look in the last few frames as the sun goes down, you can see some pretty hefty convection on the northern and northwest quadrant as it moves in, as it counters the warmer waters over the Florida Strait. Here's the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. It was issued at 5 o'clock. 125-mile-an-hour winds at that time, a Category 3 storm, And the prediction is for it to approach Key West overnight and by about 8 or 9 o'clock be on their doorstep, if not just a little past. Sunday at 2 a.m. just south of Key West, but then by 2 in the afternoon it'll be on the other side. 130 to 140 mile-an-hour winds. A very dangerous storm for the lower Keys, and it's going to be a dangerous storm for all of our viewing area too. But Key West, unfortunately, is going to be the first to get its power. Here's the track Sunday at 2 in the afternoon. Still off of Naples, Marco Island, and by 2 in the morning on Monday to the north of our viewing area. So again, it's going to be between 9, 10 o'clock at night and 2, 3 in the morning, depending on how far south or north you live, that we'll get the height of the storm. But it's going to rattle your house. It's going to be a quite terrifying event as it passes if this particular forecast path holds true. And there's no reason at this point, this late in the game, to expect any significant east or west shift in the path of Irma. Here is the tides. Also, once we get on the back side of it, once Irma goes up north, north of Tampa Bay into the Nature Coast, winds are going to shift around and start coming inland, which gives us the threat and danger of storm surge flooding. And John Scalzi went into great detail this afternoon on that threat. The greatest threat would be at high tide, of course, but it's also maybe so powerful that even the tides won't have that much influence on it. But expect the worst to be at high tide, and I think it's going to be tomorrow afternoon at Anna Maria Island. At 5:06 is their high tide. I don't think the high tide at 3 in the morning, just as the center of the storm is right over us, would be that great of a threat of the inundation. But then the tide goes down through the morning and comes back. For Sarasota, the time of high tide is going to be at 3:45. That's close. It's, again, the storm is right over us. I'm more concerned with the high tide on Monday afternoon at 5:38 in the afternoon. At least because we're squeezed in a little box, I'm having trouble seeing the numbers with my poor eyesight. And for Venice, the high tide, again, at 5:14 on Monday afternoon is of greater concern because at 3:21, the eye is pretty much going to be over top of us. Greater threat in Charlotte County and Charlotte Harbor because of that water just getting bunched up by the onshore wind, backing up in the river basins. This is a problem. High tide at 6:29 on Monday morning. That would be the greatest threat. Now let's take a look at our 7-day outlook showing that, rainfall. With all of the rain that we've seen on the computer models coming in, these are the estimated amounts, anywhere from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 inches over the Sun Coast. That will produce widespread flooding. So not only do we have to worry about the storm surge, we have to worry about multi-inch rainfalls. 5 to 10 inches could cause a lot of problems for us, making it impossible to get around with flooded streets and neighborhoods. 7-day outlook. It becomes more and more stormy as we move through Sunday. The chance of rain increases to 100% by tomorrow evening. 100% on Monday morning. The storm passes, conditions improve Monday afternoon. Tuesday, chance of lingering showers and storms, but much better than it will be on Sunday night, Monday. And then once we move into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, dry weather for our recovery efforts to begin. Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan is preparing our next weathercast. He'll be with you in just a few minutes. Scott?